It's December the 1st, the day in which children, and in some cases adults, open the first window in their advent calendar. If you're from the UK, you'll be familiar with the classic cardboard advent calendar containing chocolate or toys. However, there's another type of calendar you may not know about. In Nordic countries, TV advent calendars have been a tradition for many decades now. A TV channel will air Christmas-themed shows with a new episode every day in the lead up to Christmas. Sweden especially has a big culture around these shows, having made a new one each year since 1960. The TV channels usually show the previous day's episode, and there's a narrated recap at the start. These calendars also never get a second series, with networks preferring to create spin-offs with a different name, although these calendars will be rerun if popular. Molding gingerbread into amazing and interesting shapes is nothing new. In the past, springe molds were used, which were essentially wooden molds with intricate and often religious designs carved on both sides. Metal biscuit cutters, like the ones we're familiar with, weren't introduced until the Industrial Revolution. Possible origin for gingerbread men comes from when Queen Elizabeth I would hold parties and have gingerbread baked into the likeness of her guests. Many believe that this was her subtle way of stating what she thought of her guests. How many gifts do you receive overall in the 12 days of Christmas? Well, that all depends on how you interpret the song. Do you believe that you get a partridge in a pear tree on all of the 12 days, 2 turtle doves on the last 11, and so on? Or do you believe that the subsequent partridges in a pear trees, 2 turtle doves, 3 French hens, etc. is just a recap? If you believe it's just a recap, then the answer is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way up to 12, which gives you 78. However, if you believe that you actually get 12 partridges in a pear tree, then the answer is 364, as shown by my working out here. How do you interpret the 12 days of Christmas? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Oh hey guys, I didn't see you there. I'm currently decorating the Christmas tree with baubles. Baubles are nice and pretty, but how did baubles come to be? Why do we put these round things on our Christmas tree? The pagan tradition of tree worship was Christianised into the apple tree Adam and Eve consumed the fruit of knowledge from. And so evergreen trees were decorated with red apples and candles to represent the Garden of Eden. These practices evolved into the baubles and Christmas lights we see today. An evergreen tree is used as pagans believed it to be magical due to not losing its leaves, and so was put up in homes to remind them of warmer weather. Do you hate getting clothes for Christmas? We'll blame the Yule cat for this tradition. The Yule cat is an enormous feline from Icelandic mythology. The cat was said to be larger than a house and prowled the Icelandic landscape looking for children to consume. Children who hadn't received new clothing would be eaten by the cat, with this cat having the ability to sense which kids had received new clothing. The Yule cat is part of a larger family that includes Grýla the troll and her 13 sons, the Yule lads. Grýla was a troll who went round Iceland looking for badly behaved children to put in her stew, and the Yule lads are cheeky, mischievous troublemakers who are also Iceland's gift givers. Each of these lads has a name that describes the kind of mischief they cause. It's believed that the terrifying tale of the Yule cat was used as motivation to get kids to work hard, as Iceland's wool trade was an integral part of Iceland's economy in the Middle Ages. At the Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco, there is a 2-story gingerbread house in the middle of the hotel's lobby, which took 11 years to build. The Victorian-style design is inspired by the painted ladies of Alamo Square, also in San Francisco. The house is made of 1,900 pounds of sweets and 8,000 gingerbread bricks held together using royal icing. A potential origin for the image of Santa and his sleigh with reindeer comes from a Norse Yuletide myth involving Odin known as the Wild Hunt. In the myth, Odin would ride through the sky on an 8-legged horse, followed by hordes of elves, fairies, spirits of the departed, and all kinds of other supernatural beings. This army would ride forth from Valhalla, all riding black horses and accompanied by black dogs. During this crusade, Odin would judge the souls of the living, deciding who would go to Valhalla and who wouldn't. He would also bless the lands for a good harvest in the coming year, and leave gifts by good children's shoes whilst he was at it. This judgment of souls gave way to Santa's naughty and nice list. The 8-legged horse became his sleigh, pulled by 8 reindeer, and the elves that accompanied him became Santa's elves. According to legend, the Christmas song, better known by the opening line, "Chestnuts roasting on an open fire," was first thought up during the extremely hot summer of 1945 by Mel Torme and Bob Wells. Wells did everything to try and cool down. Nothing worked, and so started writing lyrics pertaining to a wintertime song in order to mentally cool himself down. Wells wrote the iconic first 4 lines of the now famous song, and Torme noticed them laying about on the top of his piano. The two of them got to work figuring out the details of the song. They took the song to a music publisher who rejected their song, so then went to Nat King Cole, who straight off saw great potential in the song. It took an entire year for King Cole to record the song, with the song finally coming out in the autumn of 1946. The song was re-recorded several times by Cole, with the version we're familiar today being recorded in 1961. There are baby names that literally mean Christmas. The most obvious example is the name Noel, which has these 2 different spellings. Noel comes from the French word Noël, meaning of or born on Christmas. Another is the name Natalie, derived from the Latin Natale Domini, meaning birth of the Lord, or Christmas Day. And the most Christmassy name of all is Natasha, which quite literally means born on Christmas Day. The names Natalie, Natalia and Natasha all come from the same root word, natalis, which is the Latin for birth. The idea that snowflakes are all different likely comes from naturalist Wilson A. Bentley, who took the very first photograph of a snowflake in 1885 and basically spent his entire life photographing snowflakes. He took over 5,000 snowflake photos over the course of his career and found no 2 snowflakes to be alike, and thus concluded all snowflakes to be unique. The shape snowflakes take depends on all kinds of factors such as temperature and humidity, meaning that it's incredibly unlikely that 2 snowflakes will be identical. In 1988, researcher Nancy Nye claimed to have found 2 snowflakes the same. Identical snowflakes can be created inside of laboratories. Dr. Kenneth Librecht is such an expert on snowflakes, he can literally create his own snowflakes, created the required conditions in his lab to make identical snowflakes. It's a beautiful snowy day today, the perfect day to build a snowman, and you can hear the sound of snow scrunching as you make footprints in the stunning white snow. Why does snow appear white, especially if ice and snowflakes are clear? Whiteness is created by all colours being reflected, and transparency by light passing straight through something and coming out the other side. As light passes through a snowflake, it's bent slightly on its way through, which then encounters another snowflake where it's bent again. This process carries on until the light reflects back out of the snowflake. The snow appears white. Very deep snow can appear blue in certain lights, because as light passes through thick layers of snow, long wavelengths, reds, are absorbed, and short wavelengths, blues, are reflected, giving such snow a slight blue tint. This is also why big blocks of ice often have a blue tint as well.